Jonathan Young.
I move that the question be now put.
I'm going to recognise the honourable member Denise Roche, and I'm doing so because she has sought the call several times.
Thank you
Denise
so much,
Roche.
Mr Chair. I've put a bit of thought into considering what the bill means, and I've listened very closely to my colleagues on this side of the House, and I agree with your assessment of what the bill is. And as a consequence, I believe that this bill is badly named. And so I've put together a few alternative names that this House might like to consider. The first one is the New Zealand International Convention Centre Maximisation of Problem Gambling Act. And it is more accurate because with the concessions that have been negotiated, the 230 pokie machines, the 12 automated tables with 20 seats at each, as well as the 40 new gambling tables, we are looking at approximately 8,000 people who will be harmed by problem gambling, and we are looking at about 6,500 children who will also suffer directly from problem gambling from this bill. Because we know that the only reason we have this bill, we have these concessions around gambling, is to fund the convention centre off the profits of problem gambling, because 40% of those profits that Sky City will make from all those machines will be from people who have no control over their behaviour. Now, for a government to say this is how we will fund a public benefit for our economy, as they suggest, through the misery of others, is morally bankrupt, sir. I've also thought that maybe to be more accurate, to more accurately reflect the impact of this bill, that we should call it the Stealing Little Kids' Lunch Money to Build a Convention Centre bill, because that's what happens to children who live in homes where one of their parents has a gambling problem. And maybe we should be saying to Sky City, could they actually extend their creche facilities, which are otherwise known as the parking lot, because that's where a lot of those kids will be. I'm also thinking that we could be calling this bill the We Welcome Money Launderers and Loan Sharks International Convention Centre Act. Because if you look at how Sky City will be increasing their profits, if you look at the concessions, particularly the concessions around ticket in, ticket out technology, which actually gets rid of real money for gambling, we're looking at a big, huge welcome to loan sharks. They love this kind of thing. That's how they launder the money, and that's how the peacocks suddenly have an income that they can declare. But at least, as I've said before, the police will know where to find them. They'll be in the casino. We could also be calling this bill, and I think we should be, the Dodgy Dealing and Tainted Decision-Making International Convention Centre Act. Because if you think about not just the process of the tender process that was aborted halfway through, or even before it started, really, if you look at that, these other dodgy characters have entered the fray. And they include members of this House who may have a tainted kind of attitude towards Sky City because of the implications around them keeping their job as an MP, because they've taken money from, or allegedly taken money from Sky City during their mayoral campaign. And the conflict of interest there is that that member has to rely on the evidence of the CEO of Sky City to maintain his job as an MP, and Sky City relies on the vote of that member to pass this legislation, where they will dramatically increase their profits. The $402 or $403 million that it costs to build this convention centre is a chump change. They will have recouped that within 4 years because of the concessions that this government is allowing with this piece of legislation, which totally undermines the Gambling Act, as others have said. We could also say, as another title for this bill, the New Zealand is a pushover in negotiations International Convention Centre Act. Honestly, we are a laughingstock internationally. We have allowed one corporate citizen to negotiate with this government for Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair.
Singh Bakshi.
Mr. Chair, I move the question be now put.
The question is that the question be now put. As many of that opinion will please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote's been called for. The clerk will please conduct the party vote. Thank you.
New Zealand National. New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
Point of order, Mr Chair. Could I,
Point of order, the honourable member.
I beg your pardon, could I correct the Maori Party vote? It should be 2 votes, not 3 in favour.
Thank you. Will the clerk make those corrections? Thank you, Mr McIndoe. Honourable members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 56. The motion is agreed to. The question now is that Clause 1 stand part. All those in favour please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote call for. The clerk will please conduct a party vote. No, we cannot have a personal vote on this. I'm going by the Speaker's ruling, and he has decided that provisions that directly and significantly affect the ability to gamble should be treated as conscience issues. The Clause 1 and Clause 2 are not policy provisions, therefore there will be party votes. Point of order, the Honourable Member Ian Lees-Galloway.
Mr Chairman, the commencement clause is essentially the clause that allows the Act to be brought into force. And therefore the vote on the commencement clause is essentially a judgment on the bill as a whole. The bill as a whole has been deemed a conscience vote, when members vote on the commencement clause, they are expressing their view on the bill as a whole, and therefore the commencement clause should be a personal vote.
Well, I'm not sure then because we are actually on the title clause, and the only conscience matters were issues covered in clauses 6, 8, 9, 10 and 11 in Part 2 of the bill. And given that the Speaker's ruling and that clauses 1 and 2 are not policy provisions, I am prepared to rule that this be a party vote. Now, point of order.
Could you direct us to the Speaker's ruling that deems that clauses 1 and 2 to be not a conscience matter?
I've been advised that they are not policy provisions, and I have the Speaker's ruling in front of me, which went to the party whips. Speaking to the point of order, the Honourable Member
Mr Chair, I wonder whether perhaps the confusion is because of that term Speaker's ruling, when in fact what you are referring to is the letter from the Speaker that arises from the decision of all parties in the Business Committee this week in which agreement was reached on this matter. And I want to point out that this is a title and commencement clause that we are voting on. In fact, we have already had a large number of personal votes on the individual clauses which relate to gambling in this bill, and I ask you to uphold the direction of the Speaker arising from that letter, which, as I say, reflects the view of all parties this week at the Business Committee.
Exactly. Speaking very briefly.
The letter does indicate which sections of the bill that the Speaker believed were policy matters, but ultimately it is over to you to rule which matters are conscience votes and which are not. And I simply put it to you, sir, that when we come to the commencement clause, that ought to be a personal vote for the reasons I've already outlined.
Well, to me, clauses 1 and 2 are not policy provisions. So in that case, I'm going to declare that we will have party votes on those clauses. The question is that clause 1 stand part. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. Aye. Party vote has been called for. The clerk will please conduct a party vote. Thank you.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Honourable members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 58. The motion is agreed to. The question now is that clause 2 stand part. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. Aye. Party vote has been called for. The clerk will please conduct a party vote. Thank you.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Honourable members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 58. Clause 2 will stand part. I will report this bill without amendment.
Very good.
Members, the House is resumed. Mr Chairman.
Mr Speaker, the committee has further considered the New Zealand International Convention Centre Bill and reports it without amendment. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The bill is set down for third reading next sitting day. Call on Government Order of the Day number 2.